Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Thursday, May 18th, 2023. What do we have coming forward in the cards for today? Let's start drawing them and find out. First card that we have coming through on our daily cards for today is Chariot in its reversal. So this is a moment today that there is going to have to be some assessment and analysis in terms of what you feel is aligned to you and what is not. This card is all about the importance and significance of the unification of energy, making sure that the energy that you are working with right now is aligned in terms of what you are aspiring to do, where you are aspiring to go. This is a moment of looking at any energies or areas around you that you feel are experiencing blockages right now in order to correct and maintain them. Maybe even having to have some discussions about where things are headed today so that you can have that clarity of purpose. The next card that we have coming through in our 5-card spread is the Knight of Wands. So, what did I say about unified energy? And this will feel a bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For masculine today, the reason that you are putting in so much work as it relates to trying to overcome these hurdles of blockages in terms of the energy that you're aligned with and seeing whether that energy is driving towards your purpose right now or if it's creating a blockage is because you yourself are very driven in terms of what you are trying to do and where you are trying to go today. This is a moment of pushing forward new passions, new opportunities, new communications. Masculine, you are feeling this drive, you are feeling this inspiration today, but remembering that we are still caught in the Mercury retrograde shadow to a certain extent. And because we are caught in that Mercury retrograde shadow, this is that point of frustration that you may be hitting in terms of wanting to move forward on some things right now in a very big way, but feeling like you are effectively blocked or stuck in some capacity and having to address that today. While for feminine energy right now, we are seeing that you are overcoming some hurdles in your own experience right now that are creating blockages, while a lot of your own manifestation or focus is on a manifestation of masculine right now that you feel is moving forward with you towards communication, does have a driven purpose. And it's this observation of this energy around you right now that is so driven in terms of this direction that is wanting to make you correct any sort of stumbles or having some potential anxiety that needs to be addressed about whether this energy is aligned to your own purposes as well, or if they're moving kind of with their own autonomy in terms of their own needs and desires, and really questioning whether they match yours right now, or if this is a separation point. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Center card for our spread for today is the Page of Cups. This is very important right now for what we are seeing. And again, it is going to feel a bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy right now, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. For masculine right now, this is a moment that not only are you feeling this drive to move forward with new passions, new opportunities, new communications, new goals, but you're feeling a bit more free. You're feeling a bit more carefree. You are concentrating a lot on your own personal vested interests right now, your own source of delight, having some of that inner child energy come to the surface. However, there is some sort of blockage that you may feel is causing a bit of a damper on these plans and projects and joy that you're trying to move forward in, because even though you are trying to drive forward in this point, there is this blockage that needs to be addressed. While for feminine right now, this is a very different experience because, as I said, we are seeing here for feminine, there is this sort of blockage that you are trying to assess. You're putting a lot of thought right now in the energy around you and asking yourself if it is aligned to what you are trying to move towards or if it is creating a block. Specifically, and I will point out for some of the feminine, this is either a single manifestation of masculine or potentially two or more energies of masculine around you right now, that you see that they have a lot of passion, that they have a lot of direction that they're coming towards you right now in, but there is some concern from the feminine that this energy may be moving based on their own sense of pleasure, their own sense of passion. And that is the moment of assessment to ask if this energy is unified in terms of feminine's goal, or if it's just effectively moving in terms of their own needs and desires. Next card we are seeing in our 5-card spread for today. Fourth card in our 5-card spread is King of Pentacles in its reversal. So this is giving us a bit of indication as it relates to some of the stumbling blocks and hurdles that masculine may be feeling right now. For masculine energy right now, a lot of this blockage that you may be feeling right now is affecting your overall sense of stability. While we see here that your inspiration is high, your desire and drive to communicate is high, your own movement right now is more towards kind of sources of delight and pleasure right now, because you are experiencing some blockage as it relates to where you're trying to move. The blockage is coming through right now in your own sense of stability, in whatever capacity you embody your stability. If your stability is around money right now, this could be a concern around finances. If your stability is based on the home life, this could be around some concerns you may be feeling based on your own home security. If your stability is in partnership, you may be feeling some instability as it relates to your partnership. Having to address this stability right now is key for the masculine to help you move forward on your vision and plans right now. There may also be some concerns right now for masculine around some of the other manifestation of masculine energy around you right now. Feeling like while there is a lot of degree or desire to move towards spaces of pleasure and joy, maybe not as much desire that you're recognizing around you right now as it relates to actually getting things done. While for feminine energy right now, this is all coming through with some anxiety around the masculine energy that is around you right now. And I'm going to say it again. For feminine, this is either manifesting as a single manifestation of masculine that embodies these qualities, or potentially for some of the energy in this collective, this could be a lot of concerns around multiple manifestations of masculine energy that is in your life at this moment. What are feminine's concerns with masculine energy right now? Well, feminine energy sees the masculine energy around them moving with a lot of passion, which they find very exciting. They feel that passion, they feel that desire, but there is concern that that energy may be a bit short-sighted, that it may be more intent on immediate gratification, on personal pleasure, instead of having a concentration towards creating any sense of stability in the feminine's life. This is that moment that feminine is putting a very close microscope on the masculine energy and saying, are you committed to building stability, or are you just moving forward from a perspective of your wand, if you will? From a perspective of your wand, if you will. Really putting that analysis in right now for feminine. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. The final card for our first 5 cards before we start to drill down into these cards for today is, this is our 5 of Cups. This is this moment of walking away from situations and circumstances that you may not feel are aligned to your best goals and the things that you're trying to achieve. For feminine right now, feminine is very focused on what they are trying to build for themselves right now. We've been saying it throughout the week. We've been saying it throughout the cards that we've received from the cards of the day and from the daily collective readings. Feminine is not in the mood for games. Not in the mood for games, trying to build something stable for themselves right now. This is that moment that feminine is putting a lot of observation on the energy around them to really decide if this is the type of energy that they want to be working with, or if this energy is creating too much of a blockage as it relates to what feminine is trying to build for themselves right now, which is going to lead them to walking away from that energy. While for masculine energy right now, this is a moment that you are kind of, you are moving very much from your own personal vested desire with this sense of delight, with this sense of play. Maybe, and again, I'm almost seeing here two different options as it relates to what's happening with masculine right now in this collective. You're almost having a flight of fancy, if you will, right now to address the fact that you're not necessarily feeling absolutely stable. This is kind of giving some evidence here of like trying to get your mind off of a lack of stability and a lack of an ability to move forward in some capacity. You are trying to think of new plans, new communications. You are trying to drive forward in that way to see if you can help with this stabilizing factor. But there is something here that you may be spending a lot of days today trying to do some things that you enjoy to get your mind off of the lack of stability that you are feeling within and around you right now. While for some of the masculine right now, this could be feeling some point of frustration, potentially even around the other manifestations of masculine around you right now, because you are experiencing this blockage. You are feeling the anxiety of a lack of stability, and you may be feeling a point of frustration that the other energy around you right now may not be as driven in terms of trying to work to that degree to create that stability around you right now. So for both feminine, and that may require you to potentially walk away from some energy that you feel is getting you off your track. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Chariot card in its reversal in combination with the Knight of Wands. So for masculine, this is a feeling of personal frustration right now, wanting to move forward on things, wanting to communicate, doing things today to try to move that needle forward, but immediately feeling some sort of blockage here, this post retrograde shadow period of feeling like you're trying to move some things forward and they're just not moving or aligning the way that you would aspire them to. While for feminine right now, this is feeling a blockage or an uncertainty around being able to drive forward with your own plans and your own goals right now, but specifically oriented towards that outside energy around you, potentially towards that masculine energy, and looking at that energy and really surveying whether it is seeing the passion there, but really trying to survey whether it's aligned towards your long-term plans and your long-term goals at this moment. May I please have one card to clarify? We've got clarification coming right now with our Four of Wands in its upright. I am not surprised to see this card considering where we left things off at the daily collective read yesterday. Now, if you will remember, a lot of the cards that we saw in the daily collective read yesterday were showing the fact that something about your current situation or circumstance was triggering some feelings or sentiments from the past, maybe even bringing up having to deal with some circumstances from the past, if not mentally, then certainly tangibly and practically right now. For depending on how this is aligning to you right now, there is some feeling of something coming back in a haunting way. For masculine right now, this could be a moment of kind of having a point of consideration that something that you may have done in the past may have been the result that's causing you, or not done in the past, may have something to do with what this blockage that you're experiencing. So this is a moment that masculine has to kind of reorient and either address some circumstances and situations from the past to correct this issue, or is having a point of consideration in fully weighing how the actions from the past have resulted in this blockage and trying to do something to fix or amend or correct it today. While for feminine right now, there is a moment that you are feeling that there is this blockage, there is this concern about being able to drive forward. You are looking at the masculine energy around you right now, and you are trying to determine whether it is aligned towards your highest path and your highest goals. And it's rekindling something. It's either feeling like this is something that feels a little too much like something that you've experienced from the past that has caused this blockage before. So it is making you have to kind of face those moments with that point of scrutiny. For some of you, some of this energy could be having to address an energy from the past that may want to move forward in some capacity, but you're really asking yourself, is that possible? Is that possible to move forward in a new way? Or is it going to be a lot of the past repeating itself? Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now, we've got clarification between our Knight of Wands energy in combination with the Page of Cups. For masculine energy right now, this is a moment that you are trying to drive forward with ideas. You're trying to drive forward with goals. You are feeling, though, a little bit more, how am I going to say this? You're feeling a little bit more playful today. A part of you just kind of would rather be not really necessarily focusing right now. And I'm actually going to say there's two different manifestations of how this is coming through for masculine. This is either a masculine right now that is potentially moving a bit more today into a flight of fancy, if you will, concentrating on your joy, concentrating on your own pleasure right now to get your mind off of some of this instability or blockage that we see that you are experiencing. While for some of the masculine right now, this could be you kind of trying to drive forward with some plans and ideas right now, but feeling that some of the energy around you right now isn't taking things seriously to the degree that you would desire. While for feminine right now, we see here that this is, again, an attention towards a masculine energy right now. And for some of the feminine collective here, this is going to be a single manifestation of masculine. For some of the feminine collection, this could be more than one manifestation of masculine, embodying these two different qualities. For some of the feminine collective, this is a single manifestation of masculine. The question about whether they're passionate, the question about whether they want to come towards them is not the issue, but whether that energy is serious or moving from a state or place of their own immediate gratification and pleasure without an eye towards the long-term plans. While for some of the other feminine collective that we're seeing here today, this is looking at either multiple manifestations of masculine, some that you feel potentially are driving towards you with good plans, with desire, but really asking and seeing some of it feeling like it is maybe moving with more personal interest. And this is that moment of really observing and saying, can I actually move forward with these energies? Can I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with our Four of Pentacles. This is resulting in some energy of withholding. For feminine, this is withholding. Feminine is not, we've been saying this, feminine is not playing games right now. Feminine does not want anything that feels like it is wasting their time or creating any sort of blockages. Feminine is very driven in terms of what it is that they're seeking right now. And feminine is looking at the energy. And if they feel that it is coming through in a way that is serving personal interest right now, that is going to pull the feminine energy back and prevent them from moving forward towards this masculine. We see that very heavily today. While for masculine energy right now, we said, masculine, you are feeling a point of instability right now as it relates to your own personal life. You are looking at that with a very critical eye. And it is very difficult because, and again, this is going to feel a little bit different depending on how you fall on the masculine collective here. For some of the masculine collective right now, there is this moment that you are feeling a point of frustration around this point of stability because a part of you wants to move forward and play. They want to go into these flights of fancy. You have this like desire. We saw this yesterday. Temptation was all over the table yesterday. You want to kind of be able to let loose, to enjoy yourself, to be able to move forward on your plans. You can't from a stability point. You feel like you need to move into a state of austerity. You feel like to some extent there's something about your own stability right now that is blocking you from being able to do this to the capacity that you would desire. While for some of the other masculine collective that we're seeing here, this is a moment that you are being very discriminating in terms of the energy that's around you, potentially even masculine energy right now, because you are very driven in terms of what you are trying to achieve for yourself right now, but you have anxiety around some of the energy that you feel maybe not coming forward or wanting to collaborate with you, but in a more frivolous fashion. And that is why you are withholding right now. And that is where that chariot blockage is coming from. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Page of Cups energy in combination with the King of Pentacles in its reversal. Again, very different message for feminine and masculine energy right now, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For feminine right now, there is a deep observation on the masculine energy that is around them right now, and really saying and looking at it and asking, feeling some concern to some degree. And I will point out again, For some of the feminine collective, this is going to be a single manifestation of masculine embodying these qualities, while for some of the feminine collective right now, this is going to be more than one manifestation of masculine. This is a moment that you're looking at the masculine energy and saying, are you moving from a state of your own pleasure, of your own immediate gratification? Are you taking my needs into consideration? Or are you creating this instability for me? Are you creating something that will not feel stable in my life, that will not allow me to feel like I can drive forward with you? While for masculine energy right now, this is a point of addressing a feeling of instability that you yourself are experiencing in wherever area of your life you put your feeling of stability. And this is a moment that you are either, and again, two different sides of this depending on where you fall on this masculine collective. Either you are getting your mind off of, or trying or desiring to get your mind off of this feeling of lack of stability by moving into flights of fancy, by moving into immediate gratification, by moving into moments of your own pleasure. For the other half of the masculine collective right now, this is feeling some point of instability with your own self, but also feeling the frustration because you feel that the masculine energy around you is not, that you're trying to collaborate with, is not getting serious to the degree that you would ideally desire. And that is also not helping you because it's not allowing you to drive forward on your goals and plans for today. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness gracious. Are these energies reflecting themselves today, folks? The answer is yes, because here we have the counterpart, the counterpart for the masculine King of Cups, King of Pentacles in its reversal. We have the Queen of Pentacles here. These energies are reflecting themselves now. What is happening? Here it is. Masculine right now, for some of the masculine collective, you're feeling unstable in your own life. It is making you want to just move into a state of a flight of fancy, because also you feel that some of that lack of stability is also coming through around the feminine energy right now. That there's something here about the fact that your own feminine energy right now is also feeling unstable. And for some of the masculine energy right now, it is this experience right now. This experience of feeling this uncertainty or this lack of stability around the feminine that is driving you right now into wanting to just kind of get your mind off of it. Just be like, I just want to go have a drink or I just want to go like take a walk. Like it's really kind of, again, we saw here a few days ago that the abandonment wound for the masculine energy is this flight response. So masculine is just trying to get their mind off of this right now by being like, I would rather have to think about anything right now than this. While other masculine energy right now, this is a frustration that you're literally just feeling around the other energy that is around you right now. That you are trying to drive things forward right now in a big way, and you are feeling this frustration, you're feeling this aggravation because you feel like the feminine energy around you isn't helping you feel more stable, and potentially your friends or your associates or your work compatriot or the people around you, they're like also not being like, they're trying to like, they're just moving about without a degree of seriousness that you would aspire to right now. While for feminine energy right now, this is that point of observation. We saw here, feminine needs the masculine to come through and make them feel stable, to help them create this sense that there is a plan, that there is some path going forward. There is a lot for feminine right now, regardless of whether this is a single manifestation of masculine or multiple manifestations of masculine. Feminine's not seeing that right now in the masculine energy. Feminine's either seeing masculine as being unstable in terms of their own life right now with the masculine. Something about it does not feel like it's going to create a stable environment. Or at worst, feminine's feeling like masculine just doesn't care enough about creating stability and is just operating based on their own pleasure instead of trying to move forward. And this is bringing feminine into feeling this lack of stability in their own life right now. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Clarification between our King of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with the Eight of Cups. So for masculine right now, this is a moment of feeling deep instability. And what are you doing? Remember that abandonment wound I brought up? Remember that flight trigger? Well, yeah. That's what you're doing, masculine. You are making a choice, not necessarily in a bad way, but you are recognizing right now that there's something that is blocking you. There's something that is blocking you on terms of what it is that you're truly trying to achieve right now. And this is a point of recognition for the masculine energy right now that you need to walk away from some things. That there are some things in your immediate life, some things that you may have even set up, some things from the past that you may have recognized or are now coming up and you're seeing in a new light, and you're realizing that they have been blocking and hindering you, that you are stuck to a certain extent, and you are recognizing that you need to walk away from something right now so that you do not feel stuck and so that you feel more stable. While for mass feminine energy right now, this is a moment of putting a lot of observation in the masculine energy that's around you right now, and simply being prepared to walk away from any masculine energy that you feel isn't creating that degree of stability. Or recognizing something around that masculine energy that you may be working with them on today to try to explain to them that they need to make a choice. That something about this lack of choice or that ability to make a choice right now may be the cause of this masculine energy not making you feel stable to a certain degree. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with Fool in its reversal. This is the Mercury retrograde lesson coming out to play in the shadow period. Everybody, we saw there, new ends of cycles, a new cycle beginning. This is that moment where everyone is trying to move forward based on the lessons that they've learned. These are new experiences they're having. You're making new experiences. You're making different choices for yourself. You're taking a risk right now, but it's a risk that is calculated. It is a risk that is based off what you have learned from the past experiences. For feminine right now, this is looking at the masculine energy right now and really saying, can this energy make a different choice? Can this energy make a choice? Can this energy give that clarity to move forward? Or are they creating a blockage point? Are they creating a point of instability? If the answer with the masculine energy right now is that they can make that choice and go forward, well, then there is this option of a new forward path here, given the fact that a different choice is made. While for some of the feminine energy right now, this is simply looking at a masculine, coming to terms and feeling like this energy is not going to necessarily be able to be stable. They're not going to be able to change. And that is what is allowing you right now to walk away from that energy, to begin a new cycle from yourself, not taking from the lessons that you've learned from the past in terms of saying, I'm going to choose a different path, understanding that I already know what happens when I stay with an unstable masculine that's not willing to make the choices that I want them to make or I need them to make. This is moving out of blockage. While for masculine, this is more of a personal choice that must be made here. There's a recognition of needing to walk away from something to help aid your own feeling and sense of stability going forward. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Clarification between our Four of Swords in its reversal in combination with our Four of Pentacles. Unifying energy, but going back and forth on it, trying to build a solid foundation here. Looking right now, having something, and this is either going to come through right now as something happening right now in the present that feels a lot, that is rising to the surface, a lot of experiences from the past, or tangibly, this is something from the past that you have to address right now. Something that is coming up to the surface today from the past that needs to be addressed. But you feeling very restrictive, very withholding, as it relates to your own ability to want to address it. Being very cautious, holding these cards close to your chest as this experience rises up. This is triggering, and it's triggering an act of withholding as you experience it. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with, I love it, the Star. The Star. The Star, the Star, the Star. This is a movement of going into your most vulnerable, authentic self. And yes, it will feel a bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For feminine energy right now, something is coming up from the past. It's either something from the present right now that is triggering you and reminding you of circumstances and situations from the past, or it is literally something that is coming back from the past today. But you are withholding. You are holding back. You're pulling back on your energy right now because you are working right now on being in your most authentic expression of yourself. You are trying to move forward from a state of vulnerability and authenticity. And there's some observation about this past experience, either the feeling that it generated or the energy that's coming back to you now, in which you did not feel like you could be your most vulnerable, authentic expression of self in the past circumstance or situation, which may have led to something coming to a point of ending in the first place. It is this observation right now that you are weighing where you're putting your energy in right now and saying, is this a safe space? Is this a place where I can be seen and recognized without having to put on artifice, without having to play games? Can I be myself and feel safe and vulnerable in this situation and circumstance now? Has something changed, or is this the same as that experience from before? While for masculine energy right now, this is a moment that we saw here, this is the constraining point. Something about masculine's current situation is making them feel somewhat unstable. They are having to be very austere. You're holding back right now with a lot of your time, your energy, as you try to build this stability for yourself right now. But at the same time, something from the past is rising back to the surface around you. Something from the past is coming back up. And you yourself are feeling somewhat withholding around it. You're not sure what to do about it. And this is either a tangible circumstance from the past, someone tangibly coming back from the past right now, or it is something that is emotionally triggering you, that is bringing this past to the surface. And it is the energy around this star, your observation and your direction right now that is focused around an energy of feminine that you see is moving in a space of being open and vulnerable, having a lot of gravitation, feeling a lot of magnetism around this energy right now. And this is either an energy that you are connected with in some way from the past, or something about the observation of this energy is kindling something from you from the past. And you are while you are observing this energy, you are still being very cautious in terms of being able to come forward to it to the degree that you would ideally desire, to the degree either practically right now because of where you find yourself because of this lack of stability, or because of this uncertainty, because of the situations and scenarios that occurred in the past, potentially around this energy. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Four of Pentacles in combination with the Queen of Pentacles in its reversal. So for feminine right now, this is a moment that you are feeling some sense of instability in whatever area of your own experience you house that feeling of stability in. If it, as I said, if it's in the finances, it's going to manifest via the financial concerns. If it's in your home, it's going to manifest via your home concerns. If it's in your people around you, it's going to manifest in your relationships today. And as a result, you are withholding. You are getting into a point of austerity with your time and your energy and your resources right now and your bandwidth because of this feeling of instability. While for masculine right now, this is a moment that you are withholding, potentially around a manifestation of feminine. And I'm going to say it again. These kids are reflecting each other. These kids are reflecting each other because this is either for masculine going to interpret, depending on where you fall in the collective, in one of two ways. Either a single manifestation of feminine that embodies these qualities, or two different manifestations of feminine in the masculine's life at this moment. Masculine, you are looking at either a singular manifestation of feminine that you cannot get your eyes off of, that you feel this point of gravitation to, that you see is able to move in this very open, authentic way. But something about this energy creates a state of concern for you about their own ability to be stable, feeling like there is something unstable around this energy right now. And that is why you are not able to come forward in the full expression that you would desire towards this energy, even though a lot of your attention is directed towards it right now. While for some of the masculine energy right now, this is the difference between two different energies that you're experiencing. You are keeping your focus right now a lot on this energy of a feminine energy that you are looking at, that is moving, that has a lot of this gravitational power towards you, that has a lot of eyes on them, that is moving in a very authentic, open way, generating a lot of attention, and that you cannot keep your attention off of, with another manifestation of feminine that's around you right now that you feel is just creating this point of instability. That there's something here about like an immediate level of instability around this energy right now. And that feeling of instability is reflecting back to you right now, which is also making you feel like you are withholding. You are holding. You're not sure what to do in this situation. You're just holding back right now because like you aren't sure what to do. You're feeling the instability very deeply within you. You're trying to make the right moves. You're feeling this blockage. And so you're just holding back right now in terms of the course of action. The clarification point between these two cards right now. 9 of Wands in its reversal. So this is a moment that, like, again, everybody's just kind of like, this is uncomfortable. This isn't cozy. There's something here that just doesn't feel cozy. And I feel like there's this feeling that's happening right now where like, there's a recognition that this is inspiring a feeling of personal insecurity. It doesn't feel fun. It feels like you've got your guard up and you don't want to have your guard up like this. There's a recognition of not wanting to have to proceed from this place of being withdrawn. Like I said, for feminine right now, there's a feeling of wanting to really be in their sense of authentic self. They're feeling like they have to hold back right now. It's making them feel unstable because feminine doesn't want to feel like they're operating from a place of guardedness. Feminine's been working really hard to move away from feeling like they had to be guarded. And there is this deep desire to be able to feel like you're moving with some degree of autonomy, some degree of comfort, some ability of being able to feel like you can be vulnerable, particularly as it relates to being around an expression of masculine, where you're not going to feel like you have to have your guard up all the time. That's the direction the feminine's moving in. And so for some of the feminine right now, that's going to be moving towards the masculine energy that doesn't make them feel like they have to be like on guard all the time. Because feminine recognizes that feeling makes them feel unstable. So that's what feminine's wrestling with right now. Trying to say, I need to hold back. I don't want to hold back, but also not wanting to go into a space or place that's going to make them feel like they have to have their guard up. While for masculine energy right now, this is a moment that you are feeling like you have had to withdraw. You're holding back to a certain degree, potentially around a feminine energy that, again, it's either a single manifestation of feminine that you can't keep your eyes off of. You know, you're watching to a degree, but you feel like has created a point of instability in your own life right now. That there's something about this energy that has come through at unstable to a certain degree. And this is that moment that you are withholding, but you don't necessarily want to. It doesn't feel good for you. It feels like you're questioning whether you should or not, because what you're really doing is you're looking at this energy right now and you're trying to say, is it this or is it that? Are you? I'm almost getting here, like for some of the masculine energy right now, the feeling is looking either at a single manifestation of feminine and being like, are you amazing or are you crazy? Like, are you amazing or are you like a wrecking ball? You know what I mean? Like, that's what we're kind of getting here with this energy in terms of the star, if this is a single manifestation of feminine. And masculine's like, I don't know what to do. If this is a single manifestation of for masculine right now, masculine's literally like they're at an impasse. You're looking at this energy going, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should look at you. I don't know if I should walk away from you. It's creating a moment of like madness for you. While for masculine energy, this could also be interpreting for some of the masculine collective right now as masculine having a feeling that there is a single manifestation of feminine right now that is just creating complete instability in their own life. But also feeling there is another manifestation of feminine that is not doing that is moving from a space of authenticity, openness, complete, gravitation, and their eyes are on them and they're still stuck here because masculine, for you masculine collective, if you're in this masculine collective, you can't move. You're stuck. You're stuck between these two energies. You're stuck between these two energies. You can't move towards this energy right now. You're holding back right now. You don't want to be holding back, but you're kind of caught in something that is forcing you to hold back. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Queen of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Fool in its reversal. Very different message for feminine and masculine right now. For masculine energy right now, this is a moment where you, again, either a single manifestation of feminine that is embodying both of these qualities right now, or two different ones, and it's going to be very different depending on what those are. This is either looking right now towards a manifestation of feminine that you feel is going through a point of temporary instability and wanting to find some new approach to go towards that energy with, having learned some lessons from the past, wanting to correct some of these issues that are creating this blockage point right now. Because you want to put the work in, because this energy has this captivation point. Even if they're not perfect, even if there is this feeling of instability right now around them, you are willing to put in the time and energy to work through it. For some of the masculine energy right now, this is experiencing a feminine energy that is creating this point of instability. It is triggering something about your own experiences from the past, and that is requiring you to have learned the lessons and move away from this energy with the knowledge that you're carrying, with care from those experiences from the past, the lessons that you learned. While for feminine right now, this is personally feeling some degree of instability in your own life right now, in whatever facet that you embody that point of instability in. But taking the personal, we keep saying this, feminine, when she feels the experience right now of the masculine coming forward in a fashion that doesn't feel to a degree like it is stable or that it is consistent. Feminine is feeling some of that. That's potentially even coming from some of that masculine energy right now, is using that as a moment to plot out a new course for themselves, to plot out a new direction with the knowledge that you've learned from past experiences when you've had to overcome these kind of difficulties. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with this 5 of Cups. Yeah, again, this is icky energy. This is feeling grief. There's grief here. There's grief. This isn't an easy decision for masculine or feminine today. Okay? This isn't an easy one. For feminine feels to a certain extent like they have to go through some things alone right now. Feminine feels like There's something about the source of the instability that they've been feeling and experiencing that is directly potentially related to the masculine energy not being able to step up and create that degree of stability around them right now, because there's a concern that the masculine energy is moving from a state of personal gratification and personal interest as opposed to a deeper plan. This is requiring feminine to take different approaches for themselves right now, to head into new journeys, potentially even walking away from some things. We see it very clearly here. Feminine's not happy with this situation. Feminine would prefer that this was not the case. Feminine's feeling a lot of grief around this, potentially feeling like this is the case right now, potentially having to go through a lot of work in trying to change your own perspective on things right now, recognizing that you are it's going to be very easy to want to sink into that feeling of grief today. While for masculine right now, this is a point of grief because you yourself are feeling some kind of blockage in your own personal life right now, but clearly also related to some of the feminine energy that's around you right now. Having some concerns about that stability, feeling like some of that feminine energy isn't coming forward in a way that feels as stable as you yourself would ideally desire right now. Putting in and this is the choice for some of the masculine energy right now. This is having to take a new approach towards this energy to try to correct this point of imbalance. For some of the masculine energy right now, this is, and recognizing, and this is the problem here, I need to point this out, for the energy of the masculine that wants to correct this point of instability for the feminine right now, they need to walk away from something. They need to walk away from something. That's creating a point of grief. The other part of the masculine energy right now, it's the same challenge. You are being called upon to have to walk away from something. But that is that moment that you are looking at and you are recognizing that there's a feminine that seems to create less stability in your life than stability. That this isn't coming through as stable as you thought, and this is requiring you to have to walk away from that energy. And that is the point of grief, because you cannot make that choice, because whatever choice you're being called upon to make is requiring you and making you feel unstable and is creating a blockage. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our star energy and the 9 of Wands in its reversal. This is why feminine is ready to walk away. This is why feminine is caught in a point of grief right now. This is why feminine is caught taking new approaches. Because feminine is driving right now from wanting to be able to be their most authentic, open expression, vulnerable version of self. And there is a deep desire right now. There is almost a flat out refusal for the feminine to say, I'm not going to stay in situations and circumstances that make me feel like I have to have my guard up, that make me feel like I'm consistently worried about what is going to happen. The blockage. I'm not going to stay in something that feels like it's wounding me without giving me the clarity of purpose so that I can feel that I can be my most vulnerable expression of self. While for masculine right now, this is a moment that your focus and direction is towards a manifestation of feminine that you gravitate towards, that you recognize is in their star energy, that is able to move and be in their most vulnerable, authentic expression of self. But feeling blocked, feeling guarded, feeling to some extent something is preventing you from being able to go towards this energy right now. For some of the masculine, it has to do with some of the issues in your own life right now that we're seeing, right? We're seeing that very clearly right now. For some of the masculine energy, we'll also point out that some of the reasons that you might not be able to move towards this energy right now might be because there's more than one feminine here. These are two different manifestations that I'm seeing. This is either a single one that you want to move forward with, but you're feeling some concerns that energy is coming through as a bit unstable right now. But for some of you, this is not being able to come through because there's an unstable feminine around you right now. May I please have one card to clarify? King of Oh my goodness gracious. King of Cups. Okay. All right. Let me explain this. Oh my goodness. Jesus. All right. Oh man. Okay. You guys are putting me to work today. All right. So this is what we're seeing here. Feminine. Again, this is why feminine is just really ready right now to walk away from anything or anyone that feels like they're playing games or feels like they're creating a blockage for the feminine. Why is that? Well, I'm going to say it again. These two are reflecting each other because this is either a single manifestation of masculine or feminine's got a lot of masculine energy around them right now. Feminine's got options because feminine is basically in a space right now that feminine is saying that the thing that they want beyond anything else right now is to be able to be in their most authentic, vulnerable expression of their own energy. They don't want to feel like they have to be guarded. They don't want to feel like they have to have these defenses up. And feminine recognizes that a manifestation of masculine that is emotionally balanced is going to allow them to occupy that space. So for some of the feminine energy right now, even though, I will point this out, different manifestations of feminine here. For some of the manifestation of feminine right now, there is a feeling of frustration. I'm not saying that there is not a feeling of frustration around masculine right now. For some of this feminine collective, this is a single manifestation of masculine that might be driving you up a tree right now. Okay? Because why? It's not feeling real stable with them right now. They're not coming forward in a tangible way. You're having some concerns about whether they're moving from a space of their own interest or their own passion, but you are continuing to stay open and vulnerable to it because that masculine energy possesses a quality that surpasses all of those doubts, surpasses all of those fears. They're balanced with their feminine. This is a healed masculine. And you're telling yourself, you know what? They're not perfect. They got moments that they make me feel a little unstable. They have moments where I feel like they're acting a bit like a child. They have moments where I feel like they're letting their own desire move them as opposed to like what I want. But it's okay because I can talk to them about it. I can be open to them about how I'm feeling. They're a healed masculine. I know I can approach them with these things and I know that we can talk it out. That's where this energy is coming from. While for the other part of the feminine collective right now, this is feminine potentially not really having a lot of masculine energy around them right now. Looking at it and being like, nope, 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 nope. Not interested, not interested, not interested. It's giving me a Goldilocks moment that you're going, you're too operating by your wand. You're just you're too much about your own personal pleasure. You are incredibly unstable. But this one, or a manifestation that you're working towards. That's what you want. I want someone, feminine saying, I want someone who is going to be emotionally stable. More than anything, I'm looking for someone who can balance their emotions. I can work through anything as long as I find someone who can balance their emotions. This is what feminine's looking for to move the chariot forward. This is what she's looking at the energy around her right now and saying, you know what? Even with your faults, which one of you is showing me that you have a degree and capacity to keep your emotions in check, that you've balanced the feminine energy in you, that I can speak to you and I can be authentic and open so that, yes, you might not be perfect, but we can certainly discuss my concerns in a very even-keeled space. Thank you so much for the gift. Continuing to get clarity on these cards right now. between our 9 of Wands in its reversal and the 5, and correction point. While for masculine, I almost forgot. Can't make me forget this stuff, people. For masculine energy, what we're really seeing here right now is a moment. Can't believe I almost forgot to say this. Masculine. And again, this is going to feel like either a single manifestation of feminine or more than one. Here's that reflection point. For masculine right now, for some of the masculine collective, there is this moment, for either one, honestly. There's either two different feminines and there's one that's got you captivated. For some of you, this is a captivating energy that you have some concerns about their own, like whether they're stable or not. For some of you, this is between you having two different energies around you right now, right? So, okay, let's start with the masculine. So for the masculine energy that is looking at this energy and being like, you are captivating, but I'm worried about your stability. You are still willing to come forward to this energy. You're still willing to work through those moments that you're feeling around the instability of this energy right now, specifically because you feel like being in the presence of this energy emotionally balances you. This is the gift that this energy brings you. And that's why you're willing to go through some moments where you start to feel a lack of stability around this feminine energy. Because really, it's okay. It doesn't matter to you so much that it's not necessarily the most materially or stable energy that you've ever experienced, because it's certainly the most captivating. It's certainly the most captivating. And something about being in the presence of this energy knocks down your walls and allows you to feel like you are at a point of emotional balance when you are around them, which is why you're willing to do this work right now to overcome the hurdles. While for the other part of this masculine collective right now, this is having a moment or a degree where you want to come towards a manifestation of feminine right now that you feel is embodying these qualities. You might not necessarily be completely able to right now, but you certainly desire to, because something about the authenticity of this energy, something about seeing this energy move in a space and in a way that is so authentic, is so vulnerable, it doesn't trigger you. It's balancing you. It's making you feel like you're coming to a point of balance. It's a healing moment in recognizing this energy and wanting to come towards it. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our 9 of Wands in its reversal in combination with the 5 of Cups. So, having your guard up, we see that there's withholding today. There's an inability to come forward to the degree and capacity that you would desire to, but there's certainly the need to want to knock down those walls. There's a need and desire to remove that feeling of withdrawal that you're currently experiencing right now, to overcome the hurdles that are blocking you in moving forward. Maybe even taking some action right now to try to move these walls down that you feel are blocking you in the worst way possible. But also feeling a level of grief right now. Almost a level of grief about the fact that these walls had to come up. Almost an act of grief around what is being let go at this moment. This is very kind of triggering energy, because there is something here that has the guard up, and it's making you kind of move in the space of not necessarily putting up healthy boundaries, but feeling like you've had some unhealthy boundaries up that you've needed to put up. And either the contemplation of that past experience that required this is a source of grief right now, or it's the frustration of not being able to move with the capacity and degree that you would ideally desire right now that is making it hard to turn to more positive thinking today. May I please have one card to clarify? Hierophant in its reversal. This is requiring either one of two things to occur right now. Okay? For some of you, this is either requiring you, as we said, unconventional approaches. Taking unconventional approaches right now to get out of this funk, to get out of these places and spaces that you felt like you had to put your guard up on. For some of you, This is breaking out of commitments that you feel have put you in a space where you have to feel too guarded, too blocked off, not wanting to feel like you have been kind of blocked on your journey, having to realize that this work that you're doing is requiring you to take down a blockage point, but it also is requiring you to end a commitment to some degree. And that is a point of, this is not something that you are glad to be doing. There's grief around it. So either an unconventional approach that needs to be taken to knock down these walls right now, or that breakage of commitment so that you don't get blocked in this fashion. Final card for today's reading between our King of Cups in combination with the Hierophant in its reversal. This moment right now, and it will feel very different for feminine and masculine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For masculine right now, this is feeling, I think this is coming through as bittersweet, because you are feeling at a point, all of this is leading you to coming into a point of balance with the feminine energy within you. That there is this balancing point with the feminine energy where you are allowing yourself to feel your emotions, but they're not overriding you. They're not overwhelming you. You're coming into a space of being able to feel them, embody them, and express them. But it's requiring you to take some unconventional approaches today to do so and to maintain it, or it's requiring you to end some commitments that are not aligned to you today. While for feminine energy right now, this is a moment of feeling that there is a manifestation of masculine that's around you right now that is in this point of balance. But it requires you to either take some unconventional approaches to have this energy in your life right now, or like to work to like keep them in balance, or it's requiring you yourself to also break some commitments in order to come closer to this energy. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification with the Ace of Wands. Positive, ending on an incredibly positive note. New communication, new passion, new projects. This is that turning of it from a point. This is where we see that turning from a point of grief to a point of positivity. Because this is that thing. While there needs to be either an unconventional approach taken or a commitment ended here, this is the carrot for the stick. It's for the best reason possible. It's for new opportunity, new communication, new projects, new planning, new growth. This is taking whatever steps are needed to take to encourage that growth. Because again, this is how to overcome the blockage. So having this day be one that, again, could be a little frustrating, but is also generating a lot of new communication energy and a lot of inspiration and a lot of passion. Bottom of the deck for today's reading is Four of Cups in its reversal. Did I stutter when I said it's requiring an unconventional approach? It's requiring an unconventional approach. And that's difficult. We're seeing here that's different, or a whole different approach. That's difficult. That's a hard thing to want to do because, the familiar is comfortable because it's familiar. It feels like a safe space. And even though there is an acknowledgement right now about the fact that it isn't necessarily yielding you the results that you would desire, there is a reluctance to have to do something with the uncertainty of not knowing what's on the other side of it. But there's also a moment right now that you're being kind of like spiritually led to understand that new choices lead to new results. So hold on to that today, even in the midst of some of this frustration that you may be feeling about the choices that you need to make today. Because while I do see the choices are being made, I'm seeing here that it's almost very begrudging energy in order to make them. That is our daily collective read for the day. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it with me. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. My private readings are done over video with the option of a recording sent to you afterwards. And if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber ID at the point of payment. Also, please remember, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process on my website. You have to book the reading and then you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you hit both buttons so that we can have our reading. Also, and most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never tell you that your great, 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 great granduncle 3 times removed asked me to reach out with a very important message and I need you to buy 18 candles from me at midnight. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So make sure that you do that. I want to thank you guys so much for having this reading with me today, and we will do this again tomorrow.